Thank you. It's such a delight to be here. My name is Beth. Beat Street is an organization that was founded by our Downtown Development Authority. And so this is sort of a pitch to say, wow, these cultural districts actually do work and apply for funding from the National Endowment for the Arts, because we wouldn't be here today had it not been for the Our Town grant that moved our project along. But Beat Street really was founded because the Downtown Development Authority, which was our cultural district, and how many of you have been to Fort Collins? Yay, that's great. So you know our downtown is pretty awesome. We invested and began investing in the 80s in our built environment, and it's a wonderful place that is very cultural and vibrant. And the leadership at the Downtown Development Authority really believed in arts and culture, and they thought that if they invested in the arts, that we could actually make Fort Collins known nationally as a great arts and culture destination. There's amazing talent in town. We have incredible visual artists and also a very vibrant music scene as well. But the original project that they founded our organization for was to build a 5,000-seat, $30 million amphitheater in downtown Fort Collins. And our arts organizations are really small. None of them actually could have filled a 5,000-seat amphitheater. So it was a great, amazing public project that could have been a creative placemaking extraordinary event, except it would have failed because it didn't have the grassroots support and the authenticity of community that really was going to make that kind of project thrive. This all happened in 2007. 2008, we all know what happened. There's that recession that we mentioned, has been mentioned a few times. And that project got tabled, but the idea that Fort Collins could be known and that the Downtown Development Authority, normally known for building physical structures, could actually invest still in the arts, that mission really was important and was an economic driver. And so at a moment in time when the organization could have folded, I could have said, you know what, our project doesn't make any sense and we're not going forward. They said, you know what, we're not done. Let's think about this and let's figure out what we did wrong. And they went back to the arts community and went to the people who are actually making art in Fort Collins and said, what do you want? What do you need? And this is how Arts Incubator of the Rockies actually was grown and born. The arts community said, you know what, we have lots of talent, but we're not making any money. I'm sure this is a problem everywhere. It's not just a Fort Collins problem. But we realized that we wanted to create professional development programs and ways to support our thriving community that was really concrete and high quality, because we knew we had high quality art being made. Well, we discovered that it was extremely expensive and very difficult to sustain long term. And so we started looking around, and at the same time that we were doing this research, figuring out how we could support our local artists, Colorado State University School of the Arts knew we were talking about this and said, hey, we want to get in on this idea, because at this point, 90% of their graduates are out of their industry within 2 years after graduation. So something is horribly wrong with the programs that we're creating that are not training students to actually be viable parts of our community. So we started talking about partnerships and the potential of creating a connection and creating an internship program for Colorado's students. And that is how the LEAP program actually was born. We actually now have created an internship that is required for CSU School of the Arts students. So they're getting real world experience. At the same time, the city of Fort Collins said, wow, we hear about this. We know that this is something we're interested in. We believe that arts are a big driver for our economy and quality of life in Fort Collins. And we have a Carnegie Library building, as a matter of fact, right in town that has been actually the library until the 70s, and then it served as the Fort Collins Museum until just a year ago. And luckily, the Fort Collins Museum actually has just moved into a $29 million brand new facility just north of downtown that's helping us stretch the boundary of cultural impact in Fort Collins. But the Carnegie Library building was going to be empty. And so the city said, you know what, we want to donate this building to this idea and to this concept of professional development. So we knew we had something. And then we realized, wait a minute, this is still really expensive. How are we going to make this a sustainable idea and a sustainable financial reality? So we looked around and discovered that we were not the only ones with this same problem, and the world had changed. We suddenly had technology at our fingertips that could potentially connect all of our communities that were looking for this kind of professional development and looking for a network, looking for a way to connect with each other. And so we started doing a little research and discovered that, gosh, in the Intermountain West, there were 10 states that were not really being served with great professional development skills in small rural communities, who all could be connected if we had distance learning and ways to connect with superior programming and great curriculum that we could provide access so that we could stay where we wanted to live, where we were inspired to make our art, and really be isolated, but not isolated at all at the same time. So that program turned into an Our Town grant application. We were thrilled and delighted to make it into the program, and we wouldn't be standing here today as an organization because this was sort of our one shot at proving to the city, so here's that political part, Teresa, is proving to the city that arts and culture really truly could make a difference, and that the idea that we had for solving our problem longer term and by sharing with a larger community could actually work. So the great news is that the NEA funded us to actually build this network of 10 states. Last fall, we convened the state arts councils, and we had, within 24 hours, I had 9 of the 10 states clamoring to get involved in the planning process. Since then, I think Kari was here earlier today, and is still here, and did a great job of showing you all the website that we've just launched that's part of the way that we're connecting this region. But those 10 states have remained involved in the planning process. We've now had hundreds of people involved in designing curriculum, designing the website itself. The curriculum that we've designed has actually been piloted to more than 100 people across 7 states. So we're excited about what we're building, and we built it to build creative districts. I mean, that's really the truth, is that we think that art will save the world. It may be great, we'll make money too, but really we're gonna save the world. And the way we're gonna do that is by having these incredible communities that are built around the organic and authentic art that's being made in all of our communities here in the Intermountain West. So we're also thrilled that later on this year, we were actually thrilled to be the recipient also of the Americans for the Arts Innovation Grant. There were 3 of them granted throughout the country. We were proud to be one of those chosen, and so we continue to tell the story of how Colorado is the place where innovation is happening. We're using technology to connect ourselves so that we can stay in those beautiful places that we want to be in. And so please use what we're building, and also please give us your feedback. The only way we can get better is if we hear from you about what's working and what's not. But we're excited about the prospects of all of the creative districts because so much of what we've designed really fits perfectly with what you all are doing to build your communities right in your own towns. So thanks.